We got that.
So what is the vibe you've been going for? Like, do you ever look that way at all?
It's casual. I look there sometimes, but like I'm more so just gonna be looking at you, and I guess around here, the microphone should work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were trying it. It was pretty funny at first because we just had no idea what we were doing, and I gotta like one of the things I have to work on is I guess like sort of like an intro. Like if I just go like, please welcome Frank Labella.
Well, you have a sick name for this. First of all, like the
Mark My Words
is fire. So
yeah.
I mean, you can do whatever you want after that, but this title's gonna get you so far.
You do like Mark My Words?
I like that. Yeah. I remember seeing something about this like months or weeks ago
on LinkedIn.
You posted something about it, and I was like, that's a sick ass name.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever you want to do with it, bro.
Yeah, no, it's
once you get like a common intro to it, like you keep consistent, that's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited for it. Are you used to being behind the camera and on the mic?
And like in front of it, yeah, for the most part. I did stuff with TV last semester, so it wasn't that bad. This is honestly what I kind of want to do. Not so much like a podcasting thing, but that's kind of what I'm going for, like on air type of stuff.
Would you ever start a podcast?
I actually have a podcast. I was doing one here with WSJU, and then I have one now at Iona as well for just to keep like it's required for a class, but yeah. I'm trying to also get like stuff out there on the content to farm a little bit on YouTube.
What was it called?
Here it was called the Hat Trick because we had 3 guys. Like,
that's kind of tough.
we kind of had to change it because somebody else was also the Hat Trick.
Oh, okay.
And his podcast was just one guy, so I was like, all right, we gotta like pay him off like you're stealing his jersey number or something. Yeah. But so yeah, this right now I don't have anything special. Right now it's Labella's Looks, I think.
Labella's Looks.
So I would like a better name.
That's good too. Yeah. Because we originally had looked at Mark My Words, and there's a bunch of like alternatives. So the only way we could make it work is if we added like sort of a subtitle. So it's Mark My Words: Conversations with the Next Generation.
That's cool though.
That's like the full title.
And because Mark My Words was taken.
Yeah, I mean it's like there's a bunch of different people. I didn't want to go through like anything down the line happening, and I had to like take it out. So
no, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a cool name.
Call it that for now.
Still works.
Yeah. Because I mean the target audience is like kids our age, and I want to have like a bunch of different archetypes, like bookworms, like frat guys, that sort of stuff.
I mean, yeah, you can go so many different directions with this podcast, so it's cool.
Yeah. So I do have some questions that I wrote for you. So who is Frank right now? Just kind of like introduce yourself.
Frank right now, he's not the same. So I just graduated from St. John's a couple weeks ago, last semester, from sport management. I mean, I think I had a great time here. Like, there's people that talk about their college experience, and especially if you're a commuter, you say like you didn't get the whole college experience, whatever it is. I think I had a great time here. I talk about St. John's very positively. I think it treated me nicely, and I think I was involved enough to have a great time at St. John's. Now that I finished, I had a quick turnaround. I applied to Iona for grad school. Yeah. It was kind of a shot in the dark. It was like, you know what, free application. I'll throw it up there for a media program because that's where my interest has kind of been lying a little bit more recently. And they finally responded 4 days before the semester started and said, I didn't realize the semester started so early. But they were like, yeah, you're good to go if you want. Like, class start this week if you want to get in. And I was like, oh shoot, like,
wow,
because I was so pressured to start it, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So
they took you back that fast?
Yeah, so it was a very quick turnaround, but now I'm doing grad classes over in New Rochelle. It's a very different experience, much smaller campus and all, quiet environment, but I'm getting
is it a lot different from St. John's?
Absolutely. I mean, in addition to the fact that like St. John's athletics is kind of crazy compared, like there's not as much attention nearly at all in terms of media for Iona, obviously, but because of that and the smaller environment there, it's a lot more intimate and kind of a lot of people know each other. It's easier to get in touch with the athletics department. It's not foreign of a concept to talk to a player on the court after the game even or get an interview with them, as opposed to St. John's where you're never even considering getting close to a basketball player unless you just kind of reach out months ahead of time and get in contact with the athletics department. So it's a very different environment.
Yeah, I mean, after like working in athletics, I always do wonder what it looks like in the scenes of some of the other schools, especially the smaller ones.
I can say it is crazy. Like, I'm glad as well that I have gotten the other experience. Like, sure, there's been ups and downs in the first couple of weeks with it, but after having 3.5 years at St. John's, I feel like you're always going to wonder if you stay at one school, like, what would other experiences have been like? If you're at a small school, what would have been at a big school? If you're at a big school, maybe what would it have been like if it was more of an intimate environment in a small school up where like somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So I'm glad that I'm getting a little bit of different of experience, even though it's not in the undergrad realm, but it's kind of cool to kind of get a taste of, especially in the sports world, how a collegiate level at a smaller environment kind of operates a little bit.
So what originally wanted you to like work in sport make that decision?
I think I took most inspiration from my brother. So I have two older brothers, and we kind of just grew up with sports. Like our dad loved sports and kind of nurtured us into that environment. We were always playing sports in the front yard and all that. So my oldest brother went into sport management and got into the coaching realm. Like he actually helped me get a coaching job alongside him, like do assistant coaching with him. So it was awesome. I kind of was a little bit nurtured into the sports environment. Like I loved playing growing up, wanted to be a part of it. And then when I was going into St. John's, I was going to go in undecided because I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go to. And to be honest, I'm incredibly impressed with anyone who goes into their freshman year of college knowing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend who wanted to be a pilot and knew it going into school, and like that's incredible, especially for St. John's, big pharmacy school.
Yep.
If you know you want to do that, good for you, really.
Yeah, I mean, I came in undecided too. I came in undecided. I decided that I was gonna do sport management before I actually started my first day of class, but I was undecided. I got accepted undecided, and my best friend over there was undecided until like a month ago.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Like, there's no really, I wouldn't say there's any pressure to make that decision until they really start pushing you, like late sophomore, early junior year. I think the state, I'm really opening up a can of worms by saying this statement, but like college in general, where it's like you have to make the decision so early in your life. Like, I think you finish college, say like 21. Well, I should say that is because that's what I am. But
yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it's just a crazy early decision that like you have to make so early, because college is like you feel bad about yourself if you're going back to college to kind of rethink your whole life ahead of you by making a new career for yourself. And if you go back to undergrad, especially if you go into a master's and then want to come back, that was the only thing holding me back from starting my master's. Was I was like, I don't know for sure that media is the realm that I want to go down. And then what if down the line I'm like, wow, I did my whole undergrad and I did my whole master's at this place now, and I put all this money and time into it and stress at night doing these assignments, and then this isn't even where I'm going to end up. So I think it's incredible for people to go in their freshman year and know for sure that that's what they want to do. But I do wish that there was kind of more time that you had to make that decision, where it's more acceptable, where it's not like, all right, you should be in college once you finish high school. Not that I'm saying like you should push it off, but I'm saying it's just kind of crazy how quick you kind of have to make that decision.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what advice would you give to somebody that's like really struggling to make that decision?
I would say to give something a try. Like, even if you're going in undecided, try to take some classes that are a little bit out there, maybe towards your passion a little bit, not just all they call like the gen eds. Yeah. Since you probably have to take some electives anyway, take something that you're a little bit passionate about. I mean, I'll use sports as an example just because it's easy, but say you're looking at English stuff, like you want to be a writer. I have a friend that ended up working for SNL because he jumped into English majoring. So if you have anything in your mind where you think you're passionate about to some degree, I would say freshman, sophomore year, maybe at least give it a shot, take some classes in that realm, because then maybe late sophomore year, you're already like, all right, I kind of want to jump into this major and really get more of a feel for it, because then you're putting yourself on a track to graduate at a decent time, but you're also getting a taste of maybe multiple things that you might have passion for.
True. Yeah, I mean, I came in thinking originally that I was going to be like an art major, like sketching and stuff.
It's crazy.
I chose sport management. Like, you never really know. Like, something clicks.
It's crazy how much things turn around. And what's crazy about the world of employment, too, is like you can run into somebody in some type, like a restaurant or anything like that, and then suddenly you have a conversation which just changes your perspective on a certain career or like what you want to do, and you could hear about something that you've never even known about, like a career that like you're like, wow, that sounds amazing, that's what I want to do with my life, and something that you've never known before. So a lot of it is kind of like luck of the draw and chance, where you might go into an environment you didn't think it was going to lead you down a certain path, but somebody might kind of unlock something in your mind for you.
Well, a lot of what you just talked about is honestly like the biggest factor into doing stuff like this. Mark my words. I want to get to know and unlock different ideas that I just never thought about, with these other students. And I think they give me that sort of push that I need. Maybe.
Yeah, seriously. Credit to you, first of all, for this. This is an amazing podcast in general. I hope this blows up as much as I'm picturing it doing right now. But the fact that you're going to have so many different perspectives on here, it's amazing. All different age groups, like environments, just demographics as well. But especially, you're not even an upperclassman. You're talking like this type of stuff already, this type of content that you're pushing out. This is great, especially for if you do want to go down the media realm. I'm not sure. What do you want to kind of get into in the sports world?
For sport, honestly, more so like the business side, I think.
Okay.
Like financial
sponsorships, maybe
operations, sponsorships, that sort of stuff. Maybe even I thought about like getting like my foot in the door with NIL, that sort of stuff, because it's the Wild West right now. So there's so many opportunities with that. So as for media, my brother's a media communications major, and I didn't really think I was gonna be into media, just because I always wanted my own path from him, and he's doing pretty good with media, and so I don't know. I never really thought about like going down this path, I guess.
See, but it's kind of crazy. Like you might do this enough and find out that you actually kind of enjoy it, and then things kind of get a little hectic from there.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the future really holds, but I think this is awesome. Good luck to everybody else that participates on this type of podcast. But this is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I mean, I mean, there's so many other students too that just like, you know, there's so many crazy people. I got to talk to more commuters.
I do think they involve a little bit of a different perspective because like commuters come from all different places. I mean, hopefully your drive isn't that crazy. Like my commute to Iona is a little bit more hectic than it was to get here, but I respect anyone commuting. But also, it's a different life to live on campus. I could never make the jump to live on campus. Like I applied to some schools that were a little bit far away, but I knew deep in my heart that going away from my family wasn't something that I really wanted to do. So. Yeah. Again, I'm crediting you a little bit here.
Thank you, man.
But I'm putting out a little bit too much in your credit. But anyone who goes, especially across the country, it's kind of crazy because then there's a difference between being a dormer who goes home on weekends or somebody that doesn't see their family for maybe you see them once a semester, you go home for like Thanksgiving break or something like that. But I credit to those who can go away because I never wanted to really do that, and being away from your family while you're kind of bridging together what you want to do for the next 40 years of your life. That's really a big jump that people don't really talk about enough.
It can be. It could definitely be a big jump. I mean, I don't really find myself missing home too much. Honestly, sometimes I don't feel like I am that far. And I don't know. I just feel like commuters get such a different experience here. And well, one of the stories I heard in one of my classes that actually got me pretty interested in the commuter life was just there's this kid I took what's it called, creative passports, you know that class?
I don't think so.
I took it because I thought it was creative writing, but it was creative passports. So you talk about, you know, you write about creative things, but they all have to do with travel.
Okay, that's cool.
It's pretty interesting class. But one of the kids, our first assignment was to write about the most impactful place you've ever been to. And you know, I wrote about my trip to Iceland. My buddy over there, he wrote about his trip to like the Bahamas with his family the first time like he left the country. And then this kid, he's never been anywhere, but he decided to talk about his commute. And he talked about being on the same train for 15 years of his life, from Long Island to Jamaica.
Wow. For
middle school, high school, and now he goes to St. John's. And that was just like so powerful. That sort of stories, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy story. I mean, good for him. That's an incredible journey to get to St. John's. But that type of life is just different. Like, you can never imagine living like that. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that also touches upon the topic of studying abroad as well. Like, that's another great thing that people could do. And schools that provide that, incredible. But, like, that's a totally different avenue for education that, like, blows you away when you think about the opportunities that people get over in another country. Affiliated with a school here, it's just kind of, it's so different. I mean, I don't know what the class environment is like over there, how much you're actually learning and how much you're getting more of the experience of the country.
So you've never been abroad?
Not for school. No, I've never studied abroad. I mean, that's another thing I personally was like, I don't think I could make that type of jump for such a long period of time, but good for them.
Yeah. So I think every 10 minutes or so, I'm going to check to see if it's
probably smart.
I'm going to check right now. Do we have to add graphics? We might. I might have a guy like do graphics for us. I don't think I could do that.
It's beyond me as well.
I mean, did you see like the poster that I made on LinkedIn? Or like the actual,
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. With
I mean that's like the most I can do, man. I did it on Canva.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the most I could do. I don't know, but as for study abroad, go back to that.
Yeah,
I'm going abroad next year. In the fall.
Where are you going?
In the fall, I'm doing the West program, which is you go and spend 5 weeks in Ireland, Paris, and Rome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Amazing opportunity that they offer.
So are you planning on going anywhere else while you're there? Like anywhere you want to see?
Yeah. Me and two of my best friends that I made here are going to be they're going to be going on a different like route. They're with the business school, so they have to start in I think Limerick, Ireland, and then I have to start in like Paris or something. So we're not going to be at the same places, but we're going to meet up. And we're probably going to go to an F1 race. Nice. Yeah, we really want to go see that.
That's incredible.
I mean, I'm not a big F1 guy. Watch the movie. I'm hooked. I've been watching.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen the movie?
No, I have not watched it.
Oh my God, it was so good.
I think I saw just about everything else that came out in 2025 but that.
Oh my God, you got to watch it. You're missing out. Seriously.
I should. Marty Supreme was great though, side note. Sorry.
You like Marty Supreme?
I loved it.
What about it?
The cast was great. First of all, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a great story. Although it's about a guy who's not really kind to those around him. It was a tough environment to be living in. I thought it was a great just character arc, and the plot around it was just phenomenal. I thought it was a cool concept. Like, yes, people were like, how much is it actually related to ping pong? How much is it actually like a story?
Yeah.
It was a good amount of both, and I really liked it.
No, I agree. I definitely liked it. My brother thought it was okay. He went into very high expectations though. He loves Timothy Chalamet.
I can't even think of another Timothy Chalamet movie I've watched. Like, I never watched the Dune movies, so I didn't have any expectations coming.
What are you watching, dude?
I love movies. I do. Timothy Chalamet is just not somebody that I've dabbled much in.
Oh my god, he's good. Have you seen the movie The King?
Nah.
He's in The King. Interstellar.
Yes, he didn't have such an insane role in that, but I did watch.
Did you hear what he said? How he cried when he watched Interstellar because he thought that he was gonna have more screen time.
He cried because it didn't have enough screen time?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say he cried because he didn't know what the movie was actually about.
No. So he thought he was gonna have like this huge role because he was, the main character's son, and so like when that scene happens, and when he was watching the videos of his kid and like growing up and how he missed like his whole life, wow, this actor's giving the performance of his life, one of the best performances of the decade. The camera's just on his face, and you don't see Timothy at all, but you see like his voiceover, and he just like he felt so excluded.
I did not know. I've never heard that before. That's something.
That is interesting. I don't know.
I do think he's up and coming as an actor. Like he's got a lot left in him that he's gonna be great. Like people are comparing him to DiCaprio already, who's probably my favorite actor. Like, a lot of my favorite movies have DiCaprio in
35 years older than him.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. I watched Marty Supreme, and I had high expectations too. I don't know why everybody was saying like, oh, like we're all gonna be like in Marty mode, like 2026. Because like if you do, you're just gonna go to jail.
Yeah, what does that even like consist of?
I don't know what that implies.
I don't know. I'm a big movie guy. I love that we're like rating movies now. That was probably my favorite movie of the year. Favorite movie of like the last couple of years. That was great. I mean, Marvel has got to be like kind of coming back a little bit this next year. This was the first year I think Marvel didn't have like a top rated movie or something like that, with Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And Thunderbolts not being at the top.
I was surprised they weren't up there, just because like I had anticipated those two movies so much.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I wasn't even let down. It's just like they did flop.
Yeah. I wasn't a big Fantastic Four guy. I love the like 2013 or no, it's way earlier than that. Like Chris Evans' Fantastic Four movies.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
you saw Deadpool and Wolverine?
I did, yeah.
Did you like that part when it comes out?
Flame on? I did like the Chris Evans involvement.
The flame on part? Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
I didn't know it was. Oh my god, I was so like. I'll never forget watching that movie for the first time, because I was such a big like X-Men fan. My parents were too. And so,
yeah. Well, I mean, now I gotta ask for your favorite movie of all time as well.
Oh god, I think my favorite movie of all time is probably Top Gun Maverick.
Really?
Yeah, love that movie.
I do like the movie. I've
awesome
never
movie.
heard somebody say that's their favorite movie of all time.
Two of my favorite actors are Tom Cruise and
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miles Teller.
I like that. Miles Teller.
Awesome.
Another great movie that came out this year, his movie Eternity, in 2025.
I still haven't seen it, and I gotta go see it because my brother saw it and he saw it was amazing.
Streaming soon. Great stuff.
Do you know what it's gonna be on?
Apple TV. Yeah.
Apple TV. Yeah. Oh, just with F1, so you can go watch F1.
I could watch F1, and if you haven't, you can go watch Severance on Apple TV. This is not paid promo, by the way. Shout out Apple TV though.
Oh my god,
that's great. Severance is probably my favorite show running right now.
So are you in the Marty mode mentality for 2026?
Again, I don't know what the Marty mode mentality really consists of.
I guess it's just.
I'm hoping that I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, what I take of it is just like somebody who's willing to, drive and do what it takes, but maybe like a more tame version of it.
Yeah, like a tame version in which you don't like screw everybody else around you in the end. So
yeah.
I don't know. I hope not, but yeah. I mean, to kind of relate that though to like the career motive side of things and a little bit more on track here, like outside of sports, really the media realm is something like I've driven a lot more passion into recently, as I was saying, and not just on the sports side, like media in the TV or film industry as well would be kind of awesome. Like I'm not saying I'm driving to be an actor now, although like I feel like at some point you had to have wanted to be an actor, right? Like that's a natural.
I feel like everybody wants to be the star.
Yeah, exactly. So like, yes,
that's what this is. Right?
Yeah. Let's do it. In middle school, sure, I was like, I'd love to be an actor someday, but obviously like all the big actors come from like they were doing like shows like on stage in like middle school, high school. Like
Yeah.
you have to be a theater kid to eventually kind of go out there and be that. But I don't know. I've kind of thought recently, like, again, I'm not saying to be an actor, like behind the camera or like stuff involved in like a TV show or something like that would be pretty cool, not just in the sports world. So I think if you jump into media enough and maybe you put out enough good content, maybe it just doesn't involve necessarily only the sports world.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that was a lot, man. That was good.
I hope so. I mean, I'm just trying to say, like, maybe because a lot of people too. I'm speaking on the major of sport management here for a second. Like, I've talked to a lot of people who want to work in sports, and they're like, okay, I want to work in sports, but I'm not going to do sport management to get there. Like, I'm going to do business and then get into the sports world, because you don't need a sport management major to get into the sports world. It's a popular opinion.
That's something we definitely need to talk about. But keep going.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the sentiment, but I just thought, like, I'm not going to enjoy the business classes I'm taking if I go down business. I'm not going to have any passion for it. Yeah. I know I don't want to be just in the business world. So I was like, I want to land somewhere in the sports world, and I jumped into sport management. Now it's going to take me down to other avenues. Once I got into sport management, I realized how widespread the major actually is. And you can go into media sponsorships, a lot of the stuff we've named already. Yeah. So there's so many different departments you can get into. Sure, you can still jump into the major or the field without going down the sport management route with your degree. But I think that it is a great avenue to get where you want to get, and just how widespread it is great. Yeah. I mean, I think
two things. But going back to earlier, one of my bucket list things is probably to work on a movie in some way. I think that would just be awesome, just to be involved. Bucket list thing. Like if Kevin O'Leary can be like, third man in Marty Supreme, I could probably do something.
They'll let anybody in these days. Yeah. So I mean, he's a big name.
And the Knicks guy, the random Knicks fan that was in the movie. Did you hear about that?
Yes, the guy with the glasses in that movie. Yeah, it was great. Incredible journey to that movie, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I would agree, though. Like, it would be great to work on any type of production, movie, TV, and you never know how big it's going to be, because that's the thing with movies, too, and why I love the concept of movies is that, like, they all have some type of message, and that's why movies are special to certain people. Yeah. But, like, some movie that means nothing that you've never heard of could be, like, my favorite movie because it sends some special message that I saw it on some free streaming service that's not even, like, the big, like, HBO or Netflix or anything like that. So, I don't know. It would be great to put out some type of production or be part of something where, like, somebody recognizes you as an actor someday for a movie that meant something to them. It would just be a great realm of possibility.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been very successful with sport management.
I really appreciate it. That means a lot.
No, you have been very, very successful.
Doesn't feel like it.
In sport management. I mean, looking at all the things you've done, it's, like, inspiring. Definitely for me.
That. You're on that track, dude.
And younger sport management, majors. So, one of the bigger questions I have was, if somebody is deciding what they want to do for college and they're deciding between a business or a sport management major, what is sort of the advice you would give to make that decision?
Do they have an interest in, like, anything specific, or they're just, like, kind of on the border of like do they want to work in the sports world? They're just
they want to work in the sports world, but more so on the business side. What would you say? Like, are they more going to be successful with a sport management major, or just like going into finance?
See, what's tough here about this question is that I don't know I don't know if there is a correct answer necessarily, first of all, but I know people that have landed well on both sides of the operation here. So I personally would favor sport management just because of the different fields you're going to get. So you might go in, you think, I want to work in sponsorships, but then you take this media class, you take this economics of sports class, you take something involved with, like, coaching, or even, like, you can go down so many different tracks in the sport management world. I don't know how it is at other universities. Yeah. But St. John's, in addition to the required classes, they had a decent amount of electives where you could really spin into something cool. Yeah. And the electives that I took, I was really interested in. So especially, like, an analytics class I took, and I love the professor who taught me it. And it taught me a decent amount about, like, the statistics of the world. And I was like, wow, sports analytics would also be a really cool route to go down if I end up landing there. So I think if you want to work in sports, but you're not sure necessarily what you want to do, business isn't bad, because you're leaving yourself a little bit more mobility, I guess. That's what people usually say, because sports management obviously is primarily for sports, and business, there's more ways you can go, I guess, outside of the sports realm. But I think you're getting a much greater taste if you go down the sports management route, just from my angle, obviously, since I did it. Yeah. I think there's a great amount of value you can get from the degree.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to go check on this again. Yeah. Because my timer went off a little bit ago.
Yeah, especially, like, you're going to get a lot of different point of views, and a lot of them are kind of going to overlap. So it's nice that the episodes are all going to get into, like, totally random things.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was one of the bigger, like, things that I wanted to do. Because everybody, at first, when I told them I was starting a podcast, they're like, oh, that's awesome. You're starting, like, a sports content, like a sport podcast. And then I kind of go deeper into it, and they find out that it's not really that.
Could be anything, bro. Like, whatever you want to end up talking about with somebody.
Well, there's a kid that I just had in one of my classes, and she develops games. She wants to work for, like, Nintendo. and I think that's really cool.
That's awesome.
I've never heard of they have like a game design like major now, and so I'm the first person I met from that. It's pretty cool.
See, that's like a top 5 degree that came into my head over the years, because I actually watched some show. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to look this up. Maybe like throw the graphic above our head while we're talking about it. It was like video game high school or something like that. Yeah. I watched it like years ago and it was great. It was about like a game development school, and that was like such a cool concept, because I was like, this would be great. Like they're making like Call of Duty games and stuff like that. Yeah. So another great and awesome major, because that's a major where I feel like you're having fun with it and you might actually find like a great passion for it. And video games are something that they're never really going to fall off. In fact, I think video games might even be like more prominent down the line than I think they're going to keep growing as time goes on. Obviously, like when they first came out, it was like, oh, this is awesome, but not as many people had like the resources to play them or have them. Now that like everybody wants a PS5 or an Xbox, and they're going to keep generating the next console that keeps coming out.
People are going to keep buying it.
Like, the PS6 is in discussion already. So like this stuff will never die out. And Nintendo, I mean, maybe Nintendo itself isn't so much like a name anymore where you're thinking of when you're playing video games, because it's more like special stuff like Fortnite, Epic Games, all these things, like they're their own thing. But that's another great field you can get into. I think it's fun. I think it's unique, and I think it's a never-ending possibility.
Yeah, I know. I mean, game design. It just seems a little difficult.
Oh, definitely. I mean, coding and everything difficult. Like that.
Everything kind of seems.
Yeah, difficult. I could never unless I really had a lot of studying into that. But
I mean, really it's cool. It's funny that like I'm sport management and then she's game development, and somehow we have a class together.
That's the cool thing about college.
Yeah, I know. Like,
anything could happen. The classes just overlap like crazy.
Do you have a favorite elective you've ever had in college?
Let's see. That analytics one was pretty cool. Sports analytics. Cool. I'm trying to think about any other sports ones.
I'm taking an accounting class that I really like. Really? I've only had it twice. But
so is that one like you had to take like an accounting or marketing, something like that?
Yeah, it's like accounting, marketing.
Something like financial.
I chose accounting, and this guy, he has made a pretty good living off of doing just that. And he sent his 3 kids to college, and he teaches here because he has a passion for teaching students like us financial literacy. And so every check he gets from the school, he just donates to charity.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What a guy. Seriously.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wow, like he's already sold me on his class.
There's another thing about college and the professors that you get from it. So like high school, it's different because the teachers are obviously like they're there to be teachers. But college, a lot of the times your professor is an adjunct professor, so they're out in the real world doing something with your degree. So not only off the bat do you have a connection when you walk in on the first day of school, he's already out there in the real world doing this job he's teaching. Yeah. But he's had so much experience in it and actually knows what is going on, as opposed to say a history teacher in high school where like, he's put a decent amount of studying into it, but there's stuff that you might know that he doesn't know. That's different in college, where I feel like most of the time, unless you're somebody like that came back to school and you have a lot more years of experience in it, you usually don't know nearly as much as a teacher, and you shouldn't. So it's really cool how a lot of the adjunct professors come around and kind of teach their philosophies, especially for certain degrees. And that's actually something that I would love to do. I've even seen openings for like adjunct professors on a lot of the school's websites around here, including St. John's. And a lot of them ask for a master's degree. So that's part of actually what, like a perk that I feel like of doing masters is like, I want to use this and come back and teach it too. So like, maybe in a couple of years, that would be an awesome experience.
I think I would love to go down the professor route, maybe.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I think teaching was also something that I had really considered. This is also my top 5. I'm naming like all the coolest degrees I've thought about. I was at like a point my sophomore and junior year where I was like, I don't know if sports management is what I want to do necessarily, because I was still stuck saying like before I really jumped into like media as this awesome realm, I was like, I'm not sure what avenue I kind of want to go down, even though there's so many ways you can go with sport management. So I went to the School of Education, and I was like telling them like, all right, this is where I'm at. Like maybe I could be a teacher in this sense. And they were like, listen, you're so far in with your degree, like go finish it. If you are still thinking about teaching by the time you finish it, come back to us afterward. So they basically, I thought these schools were each going to like pull me into their school, but the School of Education here was like, go finish what you got going on, and then think about it later down the line. So
that's awesome.
That was pretty cool. So I was like, from that point on, I never really looked back. And teaching is still something in my heart that I was like, that would be really cool. I mean, I love to kind of give advice or like promote stuff to the younger generation. Hey, that's what we're here for, aren't we? But
there you go.
That's definitely, as a professor, adjunct professor would be a really cool avenue to go down. I would love that possibility.
Definitely. So, well, it's funny because I've only asked you one question that I've actually wrote down.
Hey, that's what happens, man. Yeah. Love it.
And I want to get to know you a little bit better. So, let's talk about athletic operations and your time being there. Do you have any funny stories of just like, one of the day-to-day things?
I definitely do. I should have prepared for this question. I'm trying to think. Like, I gotta say, the perks of this job, like, it made you realize how, I don't want to say unserious, but like, I think that the world of sports, and really a lot of degrees too, like it kind of, I might be in a stretch of saying this, like it kind of gets taken too seriously. Where like a lot of gigs like that are like, you could really have a lot of fun with it, and it shouldn't be so serious. But like, for example, one of the parts of the job was you get to greet the referees outside, bring them to the locker room. And a lot of the time, like, I was just joking around with them, like having a good conversation, like, you know, where are you guys from, like doing this, and like talking about like the state of college basketball, or like what's going on with them, who they've been an official with the last week, and where they're coming from. Yeah. So a lot of great conversations would come from stuff like that. And like, a lot of it would just be like kind of tomfoolery, like setting up a replay system for a game. And as long as you get it done on time and you're not messing around to an extreme extent, like it can be a really fun time. Yeah. I think that the athletic operations team that we worked with, the facilities and operations, kind of understood that. We had a great time. Our bosses were like fun to mess around with, and they really had a good awesome. Personality environment. Awesome. Yeah. Shout out to the facilities and operations team at St. John's. Shout out to those guys. Great stuff. And that's why I love the job, because it was like, it's a fun time every day, and it was something different every day where you were like, you never know what's coming with an event. And that's what's special about working in the sports world. Every day is different. So I'm going to let you go back to here while I try to think of a funny story, because I definitely have so many. Like the graduate assistants who were our bosses essentially were always fun to hang around with. And like, you were so close in age that it was fun to relate to them. So there was a lot of joshing around back and forth. But I think there were so many great moments, and I was sad to leave that gig because it was so cool, even though it was for credit. So like, you got to do what you got to do. You do. But I think it was a great time.
Well, it's actually funny you say that about greeting the refs, because I remember this one specific time. I think it might have been the first game I've ever worked. It was one of the women's basketball games when they played Columbia. And so the head coach had got there early, and I had to go and greet the team. So I went outside, and it was just her. And, you know, we got into this whole conversation about sport management and, you know, what it takes to kind of be in that. And, I mean, she played, I think, basketball. And so she, like, they had no problem, like, hiring her back. She, like, made those connections. They hired her back. She's a head coach now. But she was talking about how, like, her paycheck, you know, depends on how good these kids perform.
Yeah, that's the
she
crazy
said
part
it like
about
just like that. I was like, wow.
That's why. I mean, the thing about working in college athletics too, and actually our boss Daniel Vivola actually had told me this when I had to interview him for some class, and he was telling me like one of the best parts about working in college athletics is that like you feel like you're part of something bigger, and like everything you do kind of affects the careers of these players. So, like with a professional, if you're working for like the NBA, it's different because everybody's kind of made it already and they're doing what they got to do. Yeah, like you're not affecting them too much, but at a college level, like these guys are taking classes. I mean, they're taking classes.
They're definitely taking classes.
But like everything you do actually affects the career ahead of them. Like you might greet them, and that's gonna, I don't know, it's gonna affect their day in some way, and you're paving the future for them. And while you hope all these guys go pro, like they're not all going to. So this is kind of the peak of their career for a lot of them. So the way you treat them is how they reflect on their playing career for the rest of their lives, what they're gonna tell their kids, and you're watching them go pro. Like we watched RJ Lewis here at St. John's end up playing for the Celtics for a short period of time, but now like Dennis Jenkins, who came to St. John's, playing for the Pistons, actually a decent prominent role there. So he's had some great games there. Like it's crazy watching guys in front of you and contributing to their career, and then seeing them go the distance. And that's what's special about working in collegiate athletics as well. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like did not expect Zuby to be where he is right now. Exactly. Yeah. It's a different environment for him, and he just kind of shined. He looks like he might be built for the NBA. It's a possibility. It's a strong possibility. You think he'll perform? I see it right now as a very strong possibility that he actually goes and gets minutes on a team. Like it's not that crazy, but you never would have thought that when he was with Kansas or when he was behind Joel Soriano, but things just happen with a new environment. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, now I'm thinking about the facilities and operations career. Like some of the crazy moments I've had were like, there was one time I was working a soccer game and somebody got a red card. Like he did something heinous, got ejected from the game. And our boss was like, he called me and he's like, Frank, the guy who just got ejected is on the side of the field right now. You got to go kind of like supervise and make sure he doesn't go anywhere near the field to communicate with any of the players, because basically like you're not allowed to associate with the game in any sense anymore once you get that red card. I'm not big on soccer, so I was coming to understand this as time went on. But he basically gave me the role of like make sure the guy stays in the locker room, doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. So I thought the kid was gonna understand, like, all right, the kid's gonna be in the locker room, like it's not gonna be any big deal. Like he's not gonna make a big deal. He's just gonna do what he's told. So I go and I stand in the locker room, and I'm just like chilling over there watching the game by the locker room, because you still have a good view from the locker room by the soccer field. The kid comes out and he's like, can I go sit in the bleachers? And I'm like, bro, who do you think you are? Like you just He did some. I don't remember what it was. But he hit like the dirtiest slide tackle or something bad enough to get a red card. I don't know what the qualifications are in soccer, but I was like, you did that yourself. Like, there's no shot you're gonna go associate with the team yourself right now. And I had to be like, bro, just go back in the locker room. Like, you're either I can go bring you somewhere where you can shower, or you're just gonna go sit in this locker room and chill. Like, there's no way around it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, things like that is why I love just like the operations world. You just get all the behind the scenes stuff that you just don't think about.
Like a lot of the times when you're with that job, like sometimes it was chilling in an office and just vibing, but a lot of the times like you do something kind of above what you thought your pay grade was, like working with coaches of like big name teams, or like you're face to face. Not that we ever like really had to work with opposing coaches in like the Big East realm, but you could be face to face with Dan Hurley just like that, just because of like the status of the school that we worked at, which is incredible. Yeah,
and like all the reporters that come for basketball.
Yeah, that's
too. All of them from NCAA. You know, you meet some big names.
There were a lot of connections that came with it too. Like, in addition to like having cool relationships with like the referees, or like even public safety, you have a lot of great conversations with them when you see them so often. Yeah. Like, I talked to some like big name media guys too. Like, I mean, not that I spoke to these guys, but like Brian Anderson and Spiro Deeds, who like big name commentators for CBS, TNT, whatever, were calling St. John's games at Carnesecca Arena. It's such a small arena, but so much goes on in it. So I talked to some pretty high profile guys, like they're just coming through and they're like, oh, good to meet you. Like, because facilities and operations was just a great pathway to meeting a lot of new people. Yeah.
I mean, I said something to Andy Katz. I was like,
that's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he walked past me and I just said like, thank you for coming out.
And John Fanta's there like every day because he covers Big East basketball. So, I mean, just guys like that you can establish a relationship with because you see them so often. It might help you with your career.
Well, I knew. Well, Andy looked like he was on his way out. Yeah, like he was done. So I just said like I wasn't gonna say like, oh, hi, like I'm Mark. I was just like, yeah, thank you for coming.
That's what sucks. I mean, a lot of times they're in a rush to get out of there to do whatever they got to do. I mean, in the media world, you are often like not having a lot of time to relax because you're reporting so fast. Especially the reporters that are typing on the computer as somebody's speaking in a press conference. Yeah, I mean, you got to ask the dirty questions too that get you like killed in a press conference essentially. So
that's like bottom one job for me.
Yeah, that's a rough bottom career. One. Unfortunately, like for what I've thought about doing too, like with the handheld mic in front of a camera, like reporting on more of like a sideline thing than like a at a press conference vibe. Yeah, but you might have to ask some questions that your producer wants you to ask, and then you're tarnishing your name for a little bit once an athlete gets on your bad side, or other way around.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I got some more interesting stuff.
I even seen, like, especially with Rick Pitino here, who's a guy who's like, he's a great character, but some reporters asked him some questions, like the last game when they got knocked out of a March Madness last year was Arkansas, and reporters were asking about subbing out RJ Lewis in the last couple of minutes. It's like
that's all they talk about. Like, that's all they ask.
You know why he did it? He had to do it. He's a much more experienced coach than anyone you've ever considered. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Obviously, he knows better, and you're trying to flame him for that decision. So Coach Pitino just ripped into a reporter, and I don't know. I watched it live.
Damn, that's crazy. I would be. God, I'd be scarred for life if that guy yelled at me, dude. Every time I have to go and sit out while they're practicing and sit right outside the blinds, I always feel like I'm gonna catch a stray from that guy. Like, cause he's just yelling at all the players, like over with the mic. Yeah, he's like on. They got him going throughout the entire arena.
There are definitely some scarier aspects to that role too. I will like every time we were doing that type of stuff where we're closing off the curtains up top and we were told like don't walk on the second landing while they're practicing. I always thought he was gonna say on the mic like, and who is this walking above us right now?
Exactly, yeah. Because I mean I've heard stories of him, being pretty strict with student workers and stuff. So I don't know. I
agree. I thought I would get flamed every time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I remember. You remember Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, he I think in Geo had to go get some of the game balls, and so they went into Taffner to go and get it, and they saw Rick Pitino. He was on the treadmill, and they walked in. They saw him. They were like a little starstruck. And then he was like, "Can I help you guys?" or something. And they just like had no idea what to say.
No, sir, please continue doing what you're doing.
And he was like, "No, we're just getting some game balls." And he was just like, "Okay." Yeah, but I don't know.
That's amazing. Like, we're at a level right now where it's almost a crime to even like consider speaking to him because you think you have no shot even like standing in his airspace. Yeah. But what's crazy about like the world of sports is that you're somebody like that right now. But in 5 years, you can be working alongside Rick Pitino just because of the experience you've got in between.
Exactly.
And then he's not going to remember you, but because of all the stuff he's got going on. but it's just crazy how quick of a turnaround you can have. And that's why even more impeccable the people at our age that are at that level right now, where they're working in high intensity environments like coaching already and doing stuff in the media world. Like, people are ahead of the game, and it's incredible if you're doing it at our age, really.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any like interesting connections prior to college?
Prior to college, no, I wouldn't really say I had anything like special going on. I mean, like, it was nice that my brother's in the sports world, so I was like, okay, that's definitely a helpful name to have beside you. Yeah.
That's a connection.
Prior to college, like, unless you're doing anything special like that, I was just doing the coaching stuff, and it was nice and awesome, but I still didn't know where my interest really lied going into college. So
more so like experience building.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to put together kind of my stuff, piecing it together from there. Once I got to college, things kind of took off a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna like plug LinkedIn too hard, because that's kind of a cliche where people like connect. I'm not gonna say it's overrated. Okay, I will not go that far, but I think like there's levels to it. You have people reaching out to people on LinkedIn. Like, you apply to a job and you go and you find like the person who is a big name in that job, and you reach out to them and stuff like that. I've never personally gone that far with it. I don't know how much of a benefit it actually is, but you have people giving out advice on TikTok of how to secure an internship, do all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You can take LinkedIn to so many different levels, and I've built up connections and all that. Like, I like that you can in some way be associated with like big names and people that are inspiring to you. But I don't know. There's definitely levels you can take LinkedIn to, and I haven't necessarily exceeded it.
Well, I think the idea of it is great. It's just like an app where you can just talk to these connections about, getting help. And I mean, it's a lot more formal than text. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people do some interesting things with LinkedIn, like reaching out to people, reposting like stuff from like big name celebrities, stuff like that. So I don't know. It's not a bad thing. Like, if you're posting and if you're posting on LinkedIn saying like, I'm open to opportunities, like if anyone can help me out, like in no sense is anyone going to like shame that. Yeah. So use LinkedIn to the ability that you need to use it.
That's what we did. It's a great
platform to use.
We were like, we need these positions filled.
Exactly.
Is anybody interested? We got 2 kids from it.
It's a great use of getting your name out there and getting names onto your platform a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I made sure to say like we're mainly targeting like sophomore and freshmen to help us with the staff, just because like they haven't got their foot in the door with anything. Yeah. I know this is an easy, hands-on thing to help me with.
Mm-hmm. That actually just brought another topic in my mind of like, so you have internships where it's like, you're a freshman and sophomore, and it seems like all the internships you're seeing are for juniors and seniors or like upperclassmen. Then you get to your junior, senior year, and it's like, all right, these internships are targeting freshmen and sophomore. So a lot of times you're in a place where you're like, I don't know what I should be applying for right now. And I don't know. I say like throughout your entire college career, I suppose you should be applying to whatever you can apply to. I admittedly during my freshman year at St. John's, like I was as a commuter, I feel like I was always here morning to night. I got really the most of it. I can go on for days about that. But as a freshman, like you don't have to go all out really. Like I think you could get a joyful year of college where you're not stressing about that type of stuff, because you're still getting a feel for the college experience as well and what you want to do with your career at the age of like 18. So my freshman year, I was really just playing basketball here at Taffner like almost every day of the week, just getting the vibes and like making friends, doing all that. And then sophomore year, I kind of took off a little bit more with it. Like I headed my club and really got off on my feet with a lot more connections and opportunities here at St. John's.
Which club?
WSJU Radio.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I was commentating games as a freshman, and then I ended up taking over with my friend in sophomore year, and then took it from there. Wow. But freshman year, I would say, is definitely like more of a time where you can just have a lot of fun with it, like get your feet wet a little bit and not have to worry so much about the job market. Sophomore year is where you can take it a little bit more seriously, or at least get extracurricular activities in there. I would definitely recommend getting involved as a freshman. No problem with that. Yeah. That's definitely where you should start. But I'm saying like people don't have to worry about it so much as a freshman. You're like, oh, I don't have anything set up for me yet. Yeah. Like, you got so much time to be concerned about that.
Well, the way I see it is there's 4 main categories of college. You have the social aspect. You have going to class every day. That's an aspect. You have if you have a job after you have to do, and then athletics. And so for me, for example, I don't have a job, so that frees up a lot of space to those other things. I also don't play for athletics. Yep. So the main 2 things you have to focus on are going to class
and intramural basketball.
And I mean,
it was big for me at least.
Yeah. Well, or going to class, and then the social aspect and everything else that frees up so much, time for me to figure out and do things I want to do like this.
Yes, I totally agree. So like a lot of people, as you said, in the 4 categories, like if you're not worrying about being a professional athlete or being a collegiate athlete, you're down to 3 that you really have to concern yourself with. And if you're not getting involved with extracurricular stuff in your freshman year, that's fine. I would definitely recommend it though. Give stuff a shot. Like there's no problem with going to a meeting or throwing your name down at the activities fair. I can't stress going to the activities fair enough your freshman year, going every year, because clubs start existing every year that you've never heard of. And although half of the activities fair is like frats and sororities and you might not be into that type of life, the clubs that you can find there, the organizations that bring together a community at St. John's, it's amazing. And you find stuff that you never would have thought you'd be passionate about. That's how I got started with WSG Radio. Now I'm more involved in the media world because I went to the activities fair. I was like, the only club that really seems like it's for me here is this commentating. This radio stuff sounds pretty cool. I didn't know about the TV club back then. I wasn't really into that. Yeah. But that got me started, and then I ended up jumping to the helm of it my next year. So credit to the activities fair, and I definitely recommend that a lot.
Yeah, I love the activities fair, and I love the the games they have set up too. Yeah, all those sorts of things. I mean, I talked to this one club. It was called I think it's called MedLife. Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
So it's like this group of people, and they meet up. It's mostly for the medical students, but you don't have to be, involved in that to actually be in the club. But what they do is they plan one trip every year, and they go and they help build homes, help kids from South America and Africa, and they go like once a year. They have like one big trip where they go build schools and stuff.
That's awesome, dude.
That's really cool. And I had no idea that they offered that sort of thing here.
That's incredible. So, good for them and good for you. Get involved with that.
I definitely filled it out. I think that's a bucket list thing.
Yeah, good opportunities. It really help whatever you can. That's cool for at college level too.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
It's cool stuff. I don't have 2K. I got to get into it because all my friends love 2K, and I only play FIFA pretty much.
Is soccer like your main sport?
I would say, I would say my main sport is tennis.
Really?
I would say my main sport is tennis. Yeah, I was pretty good in high school.
Okay. You didn't want to carry that on to college?
No, I wasn't. Well, because I wasn't great. I wasn't good enough to play D1, and I really wanted to go to like a Division I school that had a lot of students, and I cared about that more than playing like D3 or D2. So.
That's so awesome. Playing high school sports is incredible. Like that's a great memory to look back on.
What sports did you play in high school?
Well, not that I did. So I was playing outside of school. So like I was playing like CYO ball up until high school. It's like playing with your parish and all that. That's where I was playing sports growing up, like baseball, basketball. That was all like fun times. And then I went into high school and I was like, do I want to play for my high school team? I ended up trying out for my freshman baseball team, but this is actually like an inspiring, like not inspiring because I didn't really succeed here, but a lesson to be learned, I would say, is like, so I played first base my whole life for baseball, and I went to high school where like there are decent skill gaps for like I was a frail little guy heading into high school, and I was like, there are some big guys trying to play first base at the high school level, especially. I went to Malloy, which is like baseball is like
went to Malloy?
So
I definitely know some people at Malloy.
Yeah, it's like pretty close by here. So like baseball was a bigger thing at a school like that. So you had some chunky dudes playing first base where it was like, okay, you got some comp here. So I made the dumb decision where I was like, let me look around the field. Where are the least amount of guys trying to try out here? And it was right field because who wants to play right field? And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Like I got an arm.
Yeah.
I didn't have that type of arm. So it was like, I wasn't competing in the right field where these guys are throwing cannons from right field.
Oh my God.
I should have taken out the shot at where I was elite, or at least where I would have had a better compatibility. Even go left field, like take the outfield, but right field is obviously in the baseball world is where you're supposed to have the best arm generally, where they put the best arm because you got to throw to third to the home, like wherever. But that wasn't a great decision. So take that as a lesson for anyone going into high school sports.
That's great
Stick
advice.
to your powers or at least something a little bit closer to them, and not just where you think you can fit in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
But I did not carry any sports into playing for a team in high school. I don't know. It just
Did you think you missed out in that aspect?
In a sense, like I've always thought about it. Like our high school basketball was an even bigger thing at our high school, so I thought a little bit smaller of that. We also had a freshman team though, so in a sense, I kind of wish I tried for that. But like I said, our high school basketball was hard to get into at our school. I wish I even played for my middle school team though. But like I was playing on the side, like I said, but I feel like it really wasn't that crazy to play for a middle school team. I just never really thought about it. Like my friends played on it, and they were like, I don't know, this is fun. Like why aren't you doing it? And I was like, I don't know, I'd never really considered it.
I did tennis for 4 years of high school, and then I also did soccer for only 2.
Okay.
I really loved soccer, and my dad really loved soccer too. He actually went to the same high school as me.
Which is where?
It's a Mass. It's just a high school in Mass. Yeah, random public school. We actually went to the same high school together. And So, and he was very good on the soccer team. So everyone kind of expected me to do that. After my freshman year, I kind of just, the love for it was gone, and he didn't pressure me into doing it at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it, and then I ended up really regretting that. And then, you know, all the younger kids started getting better than me. So over junior summer, I was like, man, I really want to come back my senior year and play soccer. So I was grinding with my friends. We'd go out, we'd play soccer, you know, 2 hours a day for pretty much the whole summer. And I worked it out. I ended up making the team. I didn't get too many minutes, but it was awesome. And I love team sports. I think you learn a lot from team sports.
I would say, yeah, it's definitely a good lesson to have, like, growing up. Just the communal aspect to it, but also, like, winning and losing is something that's, like, powerful at that age. I mean, I've done podcasts about youth sports in general and, like, the problems with it in the modern day, but it's a great environment when it works well. Like, definitely. And you make a lot of friends doing it. Definitely. So I would definitely encourage it. At a college level, if you're not playing for the team, which obviously it's hard at, like, a Division I school, a lot of schools have club teams. It wasn't really a thing at St. John's, but it's a thing at Iona, which I find pretty cool. Also, Intramurals is where I kind of lived throughout my college experience. Like, I had my same group of friends where we did intramural basketball every semester, and we were actually so passionate about it that, like, our freshman year we were doing, like, post-game interviews and stuff like that, and recording practices. Like, we were going to make a documentary about it where we were going to be like the journey to winning the championship. And what sucks is, like, our sophomore year we pretty much gave up on the whole documentary thing. We weren't recording anymore. We were recording our games because we would literally finish the game, go back, watch the film of it, and, like, study it and be like, all right, when we're playing a 3-2 zone, playing 3-2 zone, you got to rotate the corner. So it was a fun experience. It was incredible. I wouldn't change it for the world. But I do wish that documentary came together because we ended up winning the championship. But intramural sports is something I would encourage because it's a great sense of making friends. You play opponents, you make friends just from, like, losing to somebody. Like, you're like, wow, that's great stuff, and you make friends doing that. So even just, like, recreational play, like, they have, like, spike ball tournaments on, like, the Great Lawn and stuff like that. Like, chances to make friends where you see an event like that happening. I would encourage going. It's different for a commuter because I didn't get the opportunity to go to a lot of those events. Yeah. But
so you're a big intramural guy. Have you heard of the team Pee Wee FC?
I've heard the name Pee Wee. Do they play basketball here?
They do basketball. They do soccer. They have, like, this whole sort of, it's like this friend group, and I was on their Pee Wee soccer team last year, and, you know, they take it so seriously, just like you're saying. They have, like, they post, like, graphics when they have different kids, like, committing to the different sports, and they're like they have, like, a whole, like, they're the next, like, Barstool Sports, dude.
That's incredible. I mean, we didn't go so far as, like, game day posts and a social media and stuff, but I thought it was incredible. Like, we even made ourselves custom ink jerseys one semester. We only used it one semester because then the team changed after that. But we had our names on it and everything. Like it was a joke to the people around us, but it was just fun environment.
I mean, it's cool. It's so
yeah,
fun.
It's something to look back on, like, years down the line, especially if you don't end up staying friends with these guys. Like, you can look back on it and be like, wow, we had such a cool communal environment in college, wearing our jerseys and everything.
Those are the things you'll remember the most.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, if they were in the rec basketball league 2 semesters ago, we probably beat them all the way to the championship.
Oh, you probably beat them.
That's cool. Yeah. I definitely encourage intramural sports, though.
So intramurals is where you had the most sort of social interaction here.
Honestly, I would say so. Yeah, like, between clubs and doing intramural sports, like that, those were really where I harnessed kind of my social aspect as a commuter here. Like, I don't know. I ended up staying here so much that I got a meal plan. I was at Monty's, like, all the time.
There you go.
That makes me sound big, but I was here a lot. So I had the time, really.
Yeah. Well, so I was gonna ask you, you know, being a commuter, do you think hurt the social aspect of your college? Like, do you think you would have like met a lot of more people, had more fun had you been in the dorms?
Yeah, I would say, as much as it hurts to say, I would say yes, because, like, I love the experience of a commuter. Like, you kind of get out whenever you want, as opposed to, like, you're like, wow, I'm stuck.
And how long is your commute? Again?
It was like 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't that crazy, unless traffic really gets bad.
Yeah.
But I think there's no doubting that, like, it's a very different experience if you're a commuter. Like, I think there is a lot you're missing when you're not staying here at night, because, like for instance, St. John's has, like, midnight Monty's where, like, they'd have a lot of events for. I'm sure you're familiar.
They just had that last semester.
Yeah, like, you see posts. You go home as a commuter and you see posts on the story of, like, people, like, raving at the dining hall, and you're like, what happened after I left tonight? Yeah. So it's nice, like, you're there during the day and you have, like, a morning class and then you get out of there, but I don't know. Like I was working during the semester, so I'd be like, all right, guys, I got to go work now at, like, 3:00, and then I wouldn't show back up till the next morning. But it was like, you look at the stories and you're like, wow, what happened on campus last night? So, like, if you don't get to go to, like, the games here on campus, where it's like, as a dormer, you're, like, right next door to going to Carnesecca basketball games. I don't know. I think it definitely, you do lose a little bit as a commuter. It wasn't enough though for me to want to stay here. Like I was fine with going home and seeing my family every day and getting enough out of staying. Like I'd come in here for a 9 o'clock class. I'd be here till like 8 p.m. and then I'd go home and I'd still get to see my family before they go to sleep. So that was all I needed personally as a college student.
You're a big family guy.
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah, my family's trying to move out of New York too, and I'm currently in the mindset of deciding whether I'm going with them. So it's a whole big thing. But
that's crazy.
It was the point I never really wanted to get to, where you got to make that decision. So
that's too bad.
I pushed it off as long as I could, trying to avoid leaving. But I don't know. Like, do you feel as a dormer here at St. John's that on both sides of the spectrum that you're getting more than a commuter would, but also that you might be missing stuff home in Massachusetts?
Yeah, I would say I've more so benefited from the fact that, you know, I am not at home. Just because, you know, if you saw my hometown, there's really nothing there. You know, it's like all woods, deer. It's funny actually. I brought 2 other good friends that I made last year. I brought them to my hometown over the summer, and they saw a deer for the first time, and they were blown away. They were like, "Oh my God, what is that, dude?" And I don't know, like there's not a whole lot, you know, out there back home. And my parents are probably gonna move from Mass once I graduate. But I mean, I think I've definitely benefited a lot. You know, I came here, I joined a frat, and I joined all, you know, these clubs. I'm now hired at the operations.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten more out of it, I would say.
I mean, as you're saying, like the skills that you kind of obtain from living on your own or living with a group of guys in a college suite, like it's different than going home every day and like having your parents cook for you. So you definitely learn a lot.
I definitely miss my parents cooking.
That's
definitely.
I mean, are you guys chefing anything up while you're here?
Oh God, no. There's a girl actually that chefs every single night in the common room, and I have to walk by it and it smells amazing.
You're not allowed to have any of that?
No, I'm never. I don't know. I was like, guys, should we hire her as like our cook or something? But I don't know. Yeah, well, I miss my parents cooking though.
I think you probably do obtain a lot. Like you probably are well more versed in living on your own than I am. Probably like the abilities you have cooking, just everything else you got to take care of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It definitely provides you a lot of great life skills. So I would say in terms of like getting the college experience, I'm not going to disagree with the norm to say you should go dorm somewhere, maybe even far away if that's what you want to do. But I wouldn't change what I've done. And anyone who's saying, I want to be a commuter, but I don't want to miss out on the college experience, go commute, because I don't think you do.
Yeah. I mean, would you say you have a very structured life by the fact that you go home? Like, is it very similar to what your high school life looked like in terms of like bedtime?
No, honestly, I wouldn't even say that, because like high school, it feels so much stricter. Where it was like, all right, I get out of school, I'm getting on the bus now, and I'm headed home unless we're doing something after school. Like I'd be planning out like, okay, Friday, like I'm not going home early because we're doing something Friday at this time. Like college, it was like my family was kind of surprised if they saw me. Like they pretty much, it was as if I was dorming, because a lot of times I'd come home after they were sleeping. Like I would hope I'd be home by the time they were still awake, but oftentimes like I'd say like, all right, I'm probably gonna be home by like 4 today. Mm-hmm. And then I would forget to text them, and I'd be at like a basketball game on campus, or I'd have a game on, I'd play an intramural game that I forgot about when I was going to school that day. And they'd be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not seeing you till tomorrow morning. So it's like, I would go like a week at a time not seeing my family, because I would leave after they're gone for work and then come back and they're sleeping already. So I don't know. I didn't have much structure, because it was never, I would go to school every day not knowing what would come of it. Like somebody would text me and be like, all right, we're going to the dining hall today. And I'd be like, I have 50 swipes on my meal plan. Why not go to the dining hall? So as a commuter, I think I like maxed out the potential of what you can do traveling to campus, I'd like to say. So there wasn't too much structure with it, and I liked it a lot more than like high school. I always said when I was in my last year of middle school, I was like, I can't wait to go to high school. Then I was in my last year of high school. I was like, this is strict. I can't wait to get out of here. And then in college, I was like, wow, this flew by. Like, I don't want to leave. And that's usually what somebody who dorms says, but I was like, I had a great time here.
Wow. I mean, that's awesome that you can take that away.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
A lot of other commuters I've talked to wouldn't say that, I don't think. Unfortunately.
The thing is, like with commuting, it's just like it's really all about what you give it. Like I respect people that go home right after class, but I don't think you're gonna get much if that's what you're doing necessarily. Granted, I came in knowing a lot of people from high school because our high school is right here, so I had a little bit of a step up, like knowing people coming in. Yeah. So that definitely helped nurture a little bit of more relationships that I made, and coming to the head of clubs, like it helped build connections and all that. Yeah. But I think you kind of got to give it a shot. Like, go out to the activities fair, see what you can do, make friends there, and go to all the events that you can as a commuter. I mean, I know some are a little bit later than the time range you want to be here, but give these things a shot.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, I remember one of the biggest factors of choosing this school was I didn't know anybody here. I kind of wanted a fresh start. Yeah, some people do want that sort of stuff.
That's respectable. I didn't ever want to take that type of jump, especially so far. Not that Massachusetts is like far, as opposed to like going from Florida to California.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's a respectable distance though. Still, yeah.
It can be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And I hope you don't have trouble deciding whether to follow them when they leave Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might. I'll probably get a job here after college. I think in the city, doing something.
Going big time in New York.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on the grind, dude. I gotta get the New York hustle.
At least in the sports world, it's not so bad of a drastic change if you leave New York, because obviously New York is like the center of a lot of stuff, even in the sports world. But there's sports everywhere. So
yeah, exactly. Let me see what we got here. I have a one main group that I really want to talk about. I looked at your resume.
Oh shit.
And what is it? Hold on, give me a second.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I saw that you were an archives logger for CBS Sports.
Oh yes, yeah. So
what does that entail?
I mean, technically I still do it right now. It's just kind of the off season of it. So
okay.
It's a really nice gig actually. It's remote entirely. I just sit in my basement with a couple different screens around me, and you're basically like making a transcript live for a broadcast as it's happening. Yeah. So it's really cool if somebody wants to work in media, where it's like, so an NFL broadcast, that's the main thing I do. Where like every Sunday you'll sit down in front of the screen, and from 12:15 when the pregame starts until 5 o'clock when the game probably ends around generally, you are recording everything that happens on your transcript live, which it's a lot that goes on in a couple hours, where it's like anything important the commentator says, any sponsorship obligations that pop up on the screen, any graphics that show, any changes in the camera where it shows like a certain fan doing something where it's like important, or if it shows the coach on the sideline, you got to record that. And it's important to sponsors where like if State Farm looks back at it, they want to see that their name pops up on the screen at a certain time, a certain amount of times in a certain location. Yeah. So it's helpful to a lot of different factors and kind of aspects looking into it.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if you still did it or not. That's why.
It ended for now. Last week the NFL season, but we'll see. I might end up taking on some NCAA basketball soon. I didn't think CBS really takes care of, but it's a really cool gig, I will say, because you can do it just from your basement. I'm doing a lot of stuff with that during the season, so it's on and off because it's only on Sundays mainly, but. Yeah, really cool opportunity. It's just a lot of stress because you're staring at a screen for like 5 hours and just typing nonstop.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's tough.
I know. I was gonna ask, is there somebody that you communicate through? You know, that you're on remote. Is there somebody that you kind of reference to, and if you have any questions?
So I guess technically my boss with it, who actually was the head of WSG Radio before I was, who handed me the reins, is the guy that I communicate with. Like, he'll give me like, all right, like this Sunday you're doing Steelers versus Dolphins, and then like he'll give me all the info that comes with it, like my packets or whatever, and then I'm sending him all my stuff essentially when I finish, put it into a folder. So I'm communicating with him all day. Like if I see something where like I've never seen that before, what just came up on my screen, I'll record it in there just so it's at the right time code. And then he can come in and fix it later or tell me what to put. The thing that like is tough with this is that like everything has to be at the specific time it came up on the screen. So you can't be like, I don't know what that was. I'll write that later. You have to mark it when it happens, and then later you can come back and do it because you can't adjust the time code ever. So that's the hardest part about it, is that like 5 hours you got to get stuff at the second it happens, or else he's gonna text you later and be like, I see this graphic was off by about 3 seconds. Yeah. What's up with that? And then I'm like, damn, like that was on me, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the struggle. God. Yeah.
That's a lot more complicated than I thought it was then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't know what I expected.
It's nifty for a couple hours, but it's fun. It definitely, because you're also just watching football, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. At least you're doing what you like, right?
It's a really good time. Yeah. I'm thankful for the opportunity I was presented with.
Yeah. And how did you get the job originally?
It was actually through my guy Thomas. Yeah, who handed me the reins of WSG Radio. He reached out and said like, I need some loggers for CBS, because he went out and worked for CBS, which is great. So very thankful for everything Thomas has presented me with. And this is kind of to stress. What'd you say?
Shout out Thomas.
Yes, Thomas Kavanaugh. Shout out him. But this is stressing the connections a little bit, and I'm not pushing reaching out to people on LinkedIn and all that, and like building your network and everything. But it's great to have a network, because everything that I was presented with throughout my career so far has mostly been from somebody like, you know what, come like work with me, or like, you know what, I think you'd be great for this position, like with the radio or that. Even I did some TV stuff with WRED TV, Red TV they call it, where I got more of my on-air interest in this last semester. And it was like, because somebody who I knew from radio was like, oh, like there's a hosting position with the Red TV, like if you want to come try out for it. And I went over there, tried it out, gave it a shot, got it, like all that type of stuff. And now I'm at Iona, and somebody out there was like, hey, I saw you out at Iona now. Somebody who we worked with at St. John's, actually Mike DeMarco, who was a grad assistant with marketing. Shout out. I'm giving everybody a shout out to that. He was like, I see you're at Iona now. Like, come like talk with me and some of the athletics guys. So I was like, all right, I'll come meet you after the game. So like opportunities like that you'd be presented with, you never would have imagined if you didn't like go out and meet people at these jobs. So every job you have is also an avenue of meeting more people for your future, and that's great.
I mean, what I know about you and what I'm learning right now currently is, I mean, you're a very likable person. And
you're a likable person.
No, it seems like you're a very likable person and a great client. And I feel like what it sounds like is a lot more people are reaching out to you than you are to other people.
That's kind of actually how it has been.
That's pretty
like,
amazing.
Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't be reaching out to people. Like I've just never really taken that step where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go out on LinkedIn and like start trying to like get in touch with these people. Like I love providing any advice or like any input to anyone that comes out and reaches out to me. So like, I don't know. That's why it sucks if I ever do reach out to somebody on LinkedIn and they don't get back to me. Cause I'm like, you know, you probably have a lot on your plate, and I get it. Especially the sports world is so fast moving where you might never get the chance to check your LinkedIn messages. I try to answer anything that comes my way, because I think like anyone who reaches out, you have courage to be putting yourself out there like that. And
even with this.
Yeah, you are awesome. Here's what, okay, this like I don't think I've ever really like said this on like a podcast or anything like that, but like some acronym that I always like to have in my head is MIL, which is MIL. I think it's actually like MIL. I might be wrong. I think it's also stands for 1,000. Like MIL translates to 1,000 or 100,000. I think 1,000.
Interesting.
I think like the M is motivation. Like everything you do in your career decisions and just in life in general, something is motivating you to do it. Whether it's like your icon, I love, like my dad is very inspirational to everything I do, and everything you do with your career, it might be because of something. Like my brother kind of pushed me into the sports world. So you have to have a motivation to anything you do in this life, and I think it's important how infected you are by your environment in a positive or a negative way. Like everybody comes from some route and demographic that pushes them down a certain route. I'm not even just talking about in your realm of employment. Like this is in life in general, you're affected by everything around you. Then the I is inspire, like not your inspiration, but what you do to inspire others. I think we all have an impact on others that you don't even realize. And it's one of my main goals in life is to have an inspiration on those under me and those beside me. Like anyone you work with now in college is going to be aside you in the future in your career, and that's why it's important not to burn bridges. Like I've been called names because I haven't burned bridges and that I'm too nice to people, but I don't see a reason to burn bridges in this world. Like unless you're really having a problem or sincere beef with somebody, you got to keep them alongside you.
And you've never had that?
I've never had serious problems with people. Like throughout high school, I tried to keep like good relationships. Like there's really no problem, or there's no reason to have problems with people unless it really gets out of hand. Like any problem I've had wasn't I like to think wasn't started by me.
Somebody's gonna think differently.
Don't hit on my DMs that I've caused problems.
Dead.
But I just think there's no reason to start issues like that. But I'm saying the I here that I'm trying to stress is like inspire, like be a reason why people look up to you. And you're even though you might be the young guy in the room, there's always somebody you're going to come across who's younger than you and is looking for advice that you can give them. Yeah. So I think inspiring is something that's very important in this world. Anything you do, again, more than just employment, you can be a great guy and really inspire and touch upon people in a great way. And then the L here, the final part of this philosophical equation, is legacy. Like you can do so much in your life that impacts others for like a long period of time. And somebody who's 90 might remember some moment they had with you when you were 13. So I think it's important that you kind of carry on something that's bigger than you and bigger than your life on this earth. And this is super philosophical. Like I'm getting beyond the realm of,
this is awesome.
Of like real talk here. But like there's a Macklemore song, and I swear it's Glorious. Do you know that song?
I know the song Glorious, yeah.
I don't know if it's this exact song, but there's a line. It's like, I heard you die twice. Once were they burying you in the grave, and the second time the last time that somebody mentions your name.
Yeah.
Great lyric.
That's a good
But it's
quote.
like, yeah, it's all about legacy, where it's like you have to have enough of an impact in your life where you're going beyond just the realm of your life, and you're affecting others at a deeper level, where like you want your picture on somebody's shelf someday. And I'm not saying people that don't have their picture on somebody's shelf, they didn't have enough of an impact.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, ideally with your life, you do enough. The motivation that you had impacted you enough to inspire others, enough to leave a legacy of some sort. And that is the mill chart that I've kind of put together for myself. Maybe somebody else has gone over that on the internet. I've never heard that before, but that's my own kind of thing that's been in the back of my mind over time, where I think I like to do enough where people are going to remember that I did it. And I hope the people above me, older than me, or beside me will give that type of advice to me when I really need it. So to help further my career and just my life, where if I ever need something, they'll be down to reach out. So I don't know. That's why I think it's important to really help all those around you, not cause issues, and don't burn any of the bridges, especially in college, because everybody's going to come back and help you out in some type of way.
Definitely.
You have so many people, especially at a big school that we're at St. John's. Big school in terms of comparing it to schools like Iona. That's pretty large. Where you have so many resources around you, whether staff or students.
I think college connections are huge.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it's talked about enough, but
it is.
It's generational. Even if you push it aside and you say it's not going to help me at all, it's crazy that the people that you don't even consider yourself that close with, they can be such a help in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great, honestly, closing statement for this. That was awesome.
I've never really discussed that, like that chart in this type of environment, but I think it's a great way to live by. But do you have any, like, have you worked on like a closing slogan where you like punch it out with? Like,
no. So it's funny you say that, because yesterday we ended it pretty abruptly. I was watching Mr. Beast on a podcast. Nice. And he talks about how people are more likely to watch it to the end of the video if you end abruptly. And you'll get more views from that. The algorithm will help you better.
Really?
Yeah, if you like end it very abruptly.
So you don't.
And he said that on the podcast. I think he was on the podcast with the Nelk Boys. You know them?
I do know them. I've never really watched too much of their stuff.
He was on a podcast with the Nelk Boys, and they were talking about, like, all right, so they were like doing their outro, and he was like, no, you gotta end it right now, like, really? or else people. He's like, thousands of people have already left the video.
That's I don't know. I mean, I guess that he probably knows more than anybody because he's the most subscribed on YouTube, I think. But that's a theory that I hadn't really thought of. I know he ends it usually like where the screen explodes and it's like Mr. Beast. He has cool outros.
Still do that?
I
haven't watched.
I would say I haven't watched in a while, but I have watched his videos recently. I don't remember how they end though. They do end abruptly, I would say.
Have you seen his show, the Beast Games?
I haven't watched. No.
It's fire.
He's a guy that uses his platform incredibly, though. I mean, we don't know him like as an actual person, but he uses what he has in a great way. I think you should listen to some of his podcasts and some of what he says. Yeah, he's so smart. What platform is he on? YouTube with it, or
he doesn't have a podcast. It's just like he comes.
He just goes on other people's. Yeah,
I'm sure he's been on Joe Rogan. I know he's been on the Nelk Boys. He's been on Impulsive, and he's great in though, and he gives awesome advice, and he knows YouTube so well, like inside and out. It's unbelievable. Yeah, the people around him too. It's great. I mean, he's had a supporting cast that's changed over time, and he's gone through a lot of people, but he keeps his stuff consistent. And from what we've seen, he hasn't really I guess the word is sold out. I mean, yeah, he's been great for a long time now. Well, did you know that not only does he have this, his channel has the most subscribers, but he also has like Mr. Beast France, Mr. Beast Brazil. And all these he's got like Mr. Beast gaming channels and stuff like that. And they all have like millions of subscribers. Oh yeah. And he pays celebrities in their countries to do the voiceover for them, for his videos. Was not familiar with that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. That's cool. It's a lot of cool stuff he does with his money. And that's like nobody else in the world is doing stuff like that. Yeah. No other YouTuber, that's because I can't. But I'm sure other people that are capable of doing that haven't really thought of that. Yeah, he makes cameos in the weirdest spots, and I see him all over TikTok. He does a lot of content too that never touches his channel for the most part. Yeah. Where he'll be on some TikTok page. It's like, I'm offering you this amount of money for this challenge, and just his cameo on something is bigger than you could even imagine without him putting it on his own channel. So he does a lot of stuff off of his channel too, which is great. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So he's big on promoting others. Yeah. So I'm glad we went on to that. But yes, I got to give the shout out. Please blow up this podcast. Mark my words. I think this is going to be bigger than ever. It's great to be a part of kind of the start of this, the first 2 episodes of it. Dude, we're honored to have you, honestly. This is great. I mean, I think this is going to take off like crazy. You got a great setup in here. You got great people behind you, a great cast. Shout out to everybody involved with the Mark My Words podcast too. You're going to wish that you were involved with it one day because this thing's going to take off. I hope so. One of the most sensational podcasts around college. It'll be big in the U.S. soon. But and then you just got to say something where
mid sentence the podcast just ends and the screen
like,
blows
I'm
up.
gonna make it probably end right there when you said that.